Romans 2:29 in the NLT says a person with a changed heart seeks praise from God, not people. In this video, we're going to talk about what the Bible really says regarding should we care what other people think of us. Hey everybody, I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com, a place where we apply the Bible to your life. So you've probably heard Christians shouldn't care what other people think of us. Maybe you have heard a good teaching on, not idolizing the perceptions of other people, or you just feel that guilt in your heart when you're thinking too much about what other people are thinking of you and you're worried about how you're coming across and you know that's a sin. Well, there's some balance to this because the Bible doesn't say it's wrong to think about what other people think of you. It's not wrong to want to have a good perception to other people. However, it is a sin when our desire for the praise of man overrides our desire for the praise of people. So point one, the idolization of other people and our wanting to be perceived really well by other people can be expressed in two extremes. The first one's pretty obvious where, we just really care about other people and we really want to be around other people and be viewed this certain way and come across this perfect way where everyone thinks the best of us and thinks we're this perfect person. The other form of idolatry on the other side is where you care about the being perceived so well that you actually avoid people in an extreme way. So for example, let's say you get invited to a party. You can express your over desire to be praised by people through trying to just show off at the party by wearing some clothing that gets you all this kind of attention. Or you can express your idolization of people by staying home and not even going to the party because you're so afraid of being viewed in a negative way. Point two, what is the solution? The solution is not to make sure everybody knows you don't care what they think. A lot of times we try to figure this out and we're like, all right, I know it's wrong to idolize the me being viewed by other people. I know it's wrong to want to be viewed as this perfect person or to be lifted up in the eyes of others, to be famous, to be popular, whatever. However you express it. We know that's wrong. One way we often try to solve that problem is by overreacting and trying to put on this perception that, I don't care what you think. I don't care, or you tell people, I don't care what people think of me, and you have this very defensive mentality and you basically walk around expressing to everybody, maybe verbally or non-verbally through your body motions and through, just that unspoken tension that I don't care what you think. And honestly, that is not biblical either. So you can swing from, all right, I care too much about what people think of me, or, well, I don't care at all. I don't care how people view me. I just, it's not my concern. That also is an unbiblical view. So for example, you can kind of see this tension in Scripture by comparing some different verses. It says in Galatians 1:10, Paul says, "For am I now seeking the approval of man or of God? Or am I trying to please man? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ." So there you have it's wrong to just want to please man and to elevate the popularity of yourself and the desire to be loved by people over your desire to please God and love God. So that's wrong. However, it says this in Colossians 4 verses 5 through 6. This is also Paul writing, and he says, "Walk in wisdom towards outsiders, making the best use of time. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person." So we can see that if we get out of balance one way or the other, we can sin in both extremes. Don't be a people pleaser and idolizing people, but you also, as a Christian, want to do your best to present yourself in the best light so that you can be a witness for Christ, that you can love people well, that you're expressing honor and respect, and you're coming across in a very loving way. So point three, it really comes down to caring about what others think of you for the right reasons. So we want to have an internal motivation to love God and to love people. Those are the first and second greatest commandments in all of the Bible. So within our motives, when we're projecting ourselves, when we're choosing our clothing, when we're choosing our hairstyle that day, when we're talking to people, when we're saying a joke, when we're doing all these things, the internal motivation of our heart should be honor God, and love people, honor people. When you can have that internal motive and you're doing these things for the benefit of the Lord and for the, trying to make people feel welcomed, comfortable, that you care about them, and you're doing this through all these different ways of communication, those are good motives. Now, you can do those same exact things, tell jokes, try to be really welcoming, wear your hair a certain way, with a bad motive. And you can want to do it so that people will see you in a certain way, that you'll be elevated in the eyes of others. Wow, that person's really holy, or wow, that person's really sexy. Whatever it is, your motive, you're having this desire to be praised by man. If that's your desire for doing those things, and if that's your motive, well, that's a sin. So oftentimes we don't necessarily have to change how we're responding to the world. Oftentimes what we need to change is the motive for why we're acting that way. You might be able just to completely keep all your external actions the same, but you need to change the inner motivation for why you're doing those things. So when all of this is working properly and we're connected to God and we're filled up with His love and we're not always aching and searching for these other lovers because we're needy inside, this is how it should work. Your love for God and your desire to please Him should affect your desire to be seen in a certain way by other people. So the motive of pleasing God will shape your desire to have a positive influence on other people, to come across well when possible. When you have to sin to be perceived well in the eyes of other humans, well, that's when you have to choose God over people. But when you can be a good witness and come across well to people, then you should do that whenever possible. Again, it says in Colossians 4, verses 5 through 6, that walk in wisdom towards outsiders, making the best use of time. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person. So is it wrong to care about what other people think of you? Well, it depends why you care. If you care for your own self-exalting reasons, yes, it is wrong to care about those things. But if you have a motive to be perceived well for the glory of God and so that you can be the most effective person you can be in loving other people, that is a biblical motive. In closing, Jesus said in Matthew 5:16, "In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven." So I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're making new videos just like this every single week. We talk a lot about Christian singleness, Christian relationships, marriage, how to know your calling, and really any question that you have, I'm open to trying to answer. So leave me a comment in the comment section, and I always do my best to interact with all the questions and comments that happen below. Well, thanks for watching, and God bless.